So, Guenther Steiner, a man who comes out with some very choice words in Formula 1 ever since he was axed as the Haas team principal at the end of last season. He's been coming out with some very bold claims, not only in print through his autobiography, but also in the media as well. I think he's actually a pundit for Austrian TV or something like that. He's still hanging around the F1 paddock these days as part of the media. And now he's come out with this quote saying that the owner of Haas, presumably Gene Haas, only wanted to participate in Formula 1 and nothing more. So let's have a look at what Steiner's had to say here, guys, and I'll give my thoughts on whether I think his comments are accurate or not. Full article on the F1Chronicle.com. Haas's team owner is content to merely participate in Formula 1. That's the frank claim of the small American team's former boss Guenther Steiner, who was sacked by owner Gene Haas over the telephone before the 2024 season. At least it wasn't via text. Could be worse. On the face of it, Haas made significant progress under the new reign of engineer turned boss Ayuka Matsu, stepping forward with pace and even signing up Toyota as a new technical partner. Steiner, though, told Ouest France newspaper that he is not impressed. Yeah, he's come out with some very salty comments, to say the least, recently about Haas's success without him. I don't know how much Mr. Haas wants to invest, as the team is still the smallest team in the paddock, both in terms of employees and factory, he said. To survive in this world that is growing every year is difficult, but my feeling is that Mr. Haas is content to be in the second half of the standings and just to participate. That's what frustrated me. I don't put in that much effort just to participate. I love the Olympic spirit, but that's not me. I want to move forward with a goal to follow. I don't know what he wants to do. Steiner, who is now a television pundit for multiple F1 broadcasters, said his only regret from his time at Haas is that he didn't quit in 2022. To be honest, I did my time there. I built the team and I'm happy with it. What Mr. Haas does with this is none of my business, and to be completely transparent, I don't really care, he insisted. Clearly, because you keep talking about it all the time, Steiner. Maybe with what I know now, I would have left the team in 2022. We were going nowhere because we were constantly trying to do more with less. With everyone else, it was doing more with more. They're not the only team that try to do more with less. There's one very notable example, a very French example that I would give as well, that also try and do that. And probably Sauber are quite similar as well, to be honest. And although they're a bit of a weird case, to be honest. They have big things on the horizon, but right now they're just kind of coasting. I mean, look, this is the thing, right? A lot of people like to dunk on Steiner, like to say he's a clown, that he's useless, all this and that. Haas did really well at first in Formula 1. You know, they came in with some real intent. They got really strong points in their first race in Australia. Grosjean getting 6th, I think it was, with effectively a no-stop strategy. They got 5th in the Constructors in 2018. They almost got 4th that year. If you watch the first year of Drive to Survive, because that was the first season that it kind of followed, and they almost got 4th place in the Constructors, which is very firmly the top half of the table. But since then, they've not been quite successful. It did fizzle out under Steiner. And look, I'm not going to pretend like he's the main guy that was at fault for this. He's the one who's obviously, you know, his head's on the chopping block for that. The team needed a reset after 22. You know, it wasn't really working quite as well. They were bottom of the Constructors' Championship. They were bottom last year as well in 23. I think they were bottom in 22 as well. They were down there anyway. They weren't very good, put it that way. They needed a hard reset. And Ayuka Matsu has done an incredible job. I imagine he's been an instrumental part in getting the Toyota partnership on board, which, you know, you can criticize Gene Haas all you want, but he's still a man who only has so much money. Yes, he's a very rich man. He's a multi-millionaire, of course, but Formula 1, that's the billionaires club, you know. Compared to the other teams, he is the poorest team owner, I think. I think all the other team owners are in the many billions, you know, even the likes of Williams of Doralton Capital. They've got millions of dollars to call on if they need it. So Haas is, you know, a true independent, really. Even Sauber these days, they've got Audi backing them. So, and Qatar now as well, as it turns out. So I understand what Steiner is saying. But realistically, Haas should be last in the Constructors every year. You know, they are the smallest team by terms of budget, in terms of the size of the team, in terms of the history of the team in Formula 1. They're the newest of all the teams as well, effectively. So, you know, I do think that they're doing a standout job to be as high as 7th this season. They almost got 6th. And whether, this is the thing, right? You can be ambitious, and it's good to be ambitious, but you don't want to be deluded. You don't want to be making goals that are never going to work out. And to be honest, Steiner's comments to me still sound like sour grapes. It still sounds like he's annoyed about his sacking and he's not fully over it. He feels probably like he's got unfinished business there. I don't know. It just comes across as rather bitter, to be honest. But I do agree with him in principle that Haas are content just to be in Formula One, because the fact that they are there is admirable. And they've got big competition coming on the way in the form of Cadillac. You know that. I mean, I don't expect it to happen. It could happen though, where unfortunately that could be the kind of thing that eventually puts Haas out of business, because there's another team coming in, an American team. Would Formula One survive without Haas if they have Cadillac? Of course they would. They still have 20 cars. So, you know, in that sense, I think it's amazing what Haas are doing, and it's great that they're there, and they should be happy to be there. Of course, aim for more, be ambitious, but don't be deluded. And it's a very fine line between the two. But guys, what do you think? Do you think Steiner's right? Do you think Haas need to be more ambitious? Do you think that is why they failed before and now they're succeeding? I don't know. This all doesn't add up, to be honest. For me, I think Steiner is just coming across rather bitter, personally. But I want to hear your viewpoints as well. What do you think about his comments? Let us know in the comments below. And of course, keep it subscribed to the F1Chronicle.com to see much more content on the world of Formula One, just like this. Like, share, comment, subscribe, ring the bell as well. And we'll see you soon, guys. Have a good one.